What, if anything, is out near SpaceX? Like, it's very utopian.
Yeah.
Okay, I am at Elon Musk's Texas Utopia. In just a few years, this quiet Texas county has become ground zero for Musk's grand experiment. It's the biggest piece in his takeover of Texas.
This is the largest factory building in the world by volume.
That was just the beginning. But the spotlight has moved to Bastrop County.
What do you guys have out there?
Well, we just completed a second factory in Bastrop, just about 20 minutes from here.
But it's not just factories anymore. He's building a new town.
Snailbrook. It's a town that billionaire Elon Musk is building.
And so far, there's houses, a bodega, and a pub. Even his own school, a self-contained ecosystem. And following all this is growth. Growth like Bastrop has never seen before.
Yeah, it's been a fast and furious few years.
Bastrop is the next big thing.
It's going to keep growing.
For 2 years, I followed this from afar. Now I'm heading to Texas to speak to locals, employees, and government officials to understand how Elon Musk's move fast and break things mentality is reshaping Bastrop.
I'm excited about our community coming together and say billionaires have to follow the law.
Ho ho! Elon Musk has got to go!
So I'm going to show you what happens when the world's richest man effectively controls a county. I've just landed in Austin, and I'm heading 30 miles east towards Bastrop. It used to be a place where people came to escape the city.
That's amazing. You know, I remember we were hanging out at your place like way back in the day when I first moved here, and you said something very prophetic when all this was happening, like Austin's about to go supernova.
Yeah.
Kind of did.
Yeah. It's boomtown.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
Legitimately.
And Musk wants to bring that energy to Bastrop.
People in Bastrop concerned about Elon Musk's boring company's request to dump thousands of gallons of treated wastewater into the Colorado River.
Texas has strong landowner rights, and you can almost do whatever you want.
To understand what Elon's doing to Bastrop, you need to see what it looked like before. For generations, life in Bastrop moved slow. It was known for its Lost Pines forest. It's the kind of place where everybody knew each other and looked out for one another. Bastrop County stretches across 896 square miles, with the Colorado River running straight through it. The land thrives on ranching and farming. For miles, there are open fields, most of them owned by local families, passed down, worked by hand, and rooted in community. And right in the center is the city of Bastrop. It's older than the state of Texas, and locals love to remind you that back in 1839, Bastrop almost became the capital, but it just lost out to Austin. But it feels more like a smaller community. Not what I expected. I'm just off Main Street. It's like an old town vibe, very historical. And I've been here like 2 days. And everybody is so friendly. Might be because everybody's like, have you seen the British guy walking around asking to speak to people about this place?
A lot of people have perception of Bastrop's a little hick town. There's no intelligent people here. But now more and more people are moving in and realizing that there's genuine people here that have some sense.
This is Johnny Sanders. He's lived in Bastrop for 73 years, and his family once owned farmland out here. And like many small towns, there's usually not a ton of opportunities. Bastrop's economy is pretty typical for a rural Texas county, with steady growth, moderate incomes, and poverty rates close to the national level. But on September 4th, 2011, one event would change this county forever.
Our top story on the night beat, the devastating Bastrop fire turns deadly, and tonight it is still going, still uncontained.
It is burning on the state park. It's consumed most of our primitive area.
Bastrop is hit by the worst wildfires in Texas history, burning for 55 days, destroying nearly 1,700 homes, and wiping out most of the state park. 2 people die, and 5,000 are forced to evacuate.
In typical Texas fashion, the volunteers and the entire community are coming together to support their fellow Texans.
The recovery was massive. Federal aid helped, but it wasn't enough. The cost of rebuilding and cleanup drained local budgets and tax revenues, leaving the community facing years of hardship. As Bastrop slowly recovered, many families who owned farmland began passing it on to the next generation. But holding on to hundreds of acres wasn't easy. Most didn't live in Bastrop and had no interest in farming. They weren't sure whether to sell, develop, or just hold on. And just as that uncertainty set in, Austin's tech boom pushed development further east. One person in particular took notice of all that available land and had an idea of what to do with it.
We have property valued around $8,000 an acre, and all of a sudden they're offering you $30,000, $40,000 an acre.
So, what is the deal here? Why is Elon Musk obsessed with Bastrop and development here? Because from walking around here, you would not notice that that's what is going on. But as soon as you drive out of town, you'll notice it. There's development and growth across the whole county. It might not look like much, but it's this land that is driving everything.
Why Austin? We need a place where we can be really big. And there's no place like Texas.
Austin has always been weird. It's a blue city in a red state. In the last decade, tech companies have arrived in waves, bringing thousands of new talent with them. In 2020, Tesla decides to build its biggest gigafactory here in Travis County. Gigafactories are essentially Tesla's name for massive automated plants that produce batteries, car parts, and sometimes even entire vehicles. By April 2022, this one opens. Within 18 months, over 20,000 people work there, making Tesla the second largest private employer in Austin.
This is the largest factory building in the world by volume. So yeah.
And this was only the beginning of Elon's push into Austin.
Following through on his threat, he says he is moving his businesses out of California.
Myself, yes, I have moved to Texas.
Elon Musk is bringing a new preschool to Bastrop.
Here in Bastrop, the future home of X headquarters.
If you follow his tweets or the headlines calling him everything from a visionary to a fascist, you know that Musk is polarizing. But we need a clear, objective view of his motives to understand exactly what he's doing across Bastrop. And that's really hard when our news is shaped by algorithms, echo chambers, and incentives that reward outrage and headlines that confirm what we already believe. Which is why I'm so glad to have Ground News. It's a tool that I've been using for years now. It's a website and app that aggregates news stories from around the world, from thousands of outlets, and shows you how it's been reported across the spectrum, how factual and credible the source is, and you can see the source's political bias. One of my favorite features is to see how different outlets frame the same story, like when Elon announced he would be forming a new political party. Ground News pulled 1,307 articles. The left's reporting was much more skeptical versus the right's more optimistic endorsement. It's just one of the many tools that Ground News has to solve this problem and help you break the cycle of how you normally consume the news, allowing you to get an unbiased view of what's going on in the world. So if you'd like to be able to make sense of what's happening around the globe with a clear perspective, Ground News might just be what you need. And the great news is that right now they're offering a massive 40% discount on their Vantage plan, which includes all of the tools that I just mentioned. To get access to the Vantage plan, just go to the link in my description, ground.news/Faultline, or just scan this QR code and you'll get 40% off that plan. Thank you, Ground News, for supporting this video. And now here is everything that you need to know about Elon Musk's motives for moving to Texas in less than 60 seconds. Around the time Bastrop is recovering from the 2011 fires, Musk's companies explode. Tesla becomes a market leader. SpaceX is launching reusable rockets, but behind the success is constant chaos. Musk is working 120-hour weeks, sleeping on factory floors and clashing with regulators. By 2018, exhausted and burnt out, he becomes convinced that heavy regulation is holding everything back.
There are more laws and more regulations every single year, and eventually we won't be able to do anything.
So by 2020, he's had enough of California's red tape and slow approvals. He likes Austin's culture, and Texas offers huge stretches of cheap land, there's no state income tax, minimal environmental oversight, and local officials are eager to make deals. He already has Starbase in Boca Chica, so expanding here kind of makes sense. In Bastrop, he takes it even further. Most of the land lies outside of city limits. It's unincorporated with barely any zoning rules. At the center of all of this is something called Project Amazing, a According to public records, Bastrop County approves plans for a housing complex on the almost 450-acre site. Musk is already bringing the jobs. Other developers are building the homes, shops, and services to support that growth. So why is he also building his own private town? Okay, I am at Elon Musk's Texas Utopia. The Boring Company is there, SpaceX is there, and there's a boring bodega, and this place has been confusing me for so long. This is the start of Project Amazing, what they actually call Snailbrook. So this is the Boring Company, this is Snailbrook, this is the town they're building. It's a dozen or so small mobile homes that look something like you'd find in a family resort. I feel like I'm on like a camping site. There's a pickleball court, a kids' play area, and the bodega is inside this barn. This place is very whole foody. My favorite chocolate here. It was a little confusing. There was a hairdresser's with no staff, a cafe. Can we get 2 meatball subs? Wow, this is good. A spot to buy Boring Co. merch, a bar. Honestly, it kind of felt like a student union. And it was pretty dead as well. There was a few locals and some employees. So is this just like a staff bodega thing?
In my opinion, it's so that people don't have to go very far to get lunch. There's nothing around.
It turns out these homes are for employees. Many of them here are working 80-hour weeks.
People that live on site, so we own a lot of housing. It's just a convenience.
Oh, okay, all right. This all started in May of 2021. A company linked to Boring, Gap Base LLC, brought up this 73 acres of land. 7 months later, the Snailbrook and Boring facilities started to take shape, but they needed more, and they were able to offer their neighbors an amount that they couldn't refuse.
Of course, everything is about money. For instance, you mentioned Elon Musk. I know a lot of people out there that have had their property forever. All of a sudden, it was worth 5 times what they thought it was worth. So they systematically started, it made no sense, for not to sell.
By the end of 2023, the SpaceX manufacturing hub for Starlink opens, along with the Boring Bodega and Hyperloop Plaza. And in 2024, the X headquarters also relocated to the Bastrop site. Today, Elon's group of companies own 450 acres here, and the plan for Project Amazing shows that they intend to build out Snailbrook over 70 acres, as a place that his employees can rent out for around $800 a month. That's less than the local average of around $2,000. On the other side of the land, Musk is opening a Montessori-inspired private school. It's called Ad Astra and is due to open this year. Snailbrook isn't just a housing project. It's designed as a self-contained ecosystem. It's got all the makings of a modern-day company town.
When you're in the county in Texas, there's really not a whole lot that the county tells you what to do and how to do it. That's how he likes to operate.
So what is it like if you are Elon's neighbor? What happens when the world's richest man moves his business empire next door? People were excited for the prospect of what having SpaceX and the Boring Company could mean. More growth, more investment, better jobs, a reason for their kids to stick around. And if this company town keeps expanding, they figured that they might even get a chance to sell their land, because right now it looks like a pretty good deal. But once the companies moved in, they kept quiet. They said little to their neighbors and even less to the media. You had to put the pieces together through what little information was shared.
His company's out there in Bastrop County and they're expanding. What are they doing there?
But remember, they came here for a reason. It's their land now and they're free to do almost whatever they want.
But you can't mess with our water, can't mess with the air, can't cause traffic issues, and we are seeing those things on a daily basis.
From what I've heard, even the things that they are supposed to follow, a lot of times his companies around here they kind of move, they ask for forgiveness,
According to Texas Commission on Environmental Quality records, the Boring Company twice violated air quality and wastewater rules.
Chap Ambrose, whose property backs onto the site, says that the companies now have 14 environmental violations for dumping industrial wastewater into the Colorado River and drilling tunnels without permits. These are not small issues. And then the companies went on to request to dump over 140,000 gallons of wastewater a day. The river is already classified as impaired, and more dumping could threaten wildlife and drinking supplies for thousands of people downstream. But from everything we know about how Musk operates, this kind of thing is not surprising.
Back in 2017, stemming from hazardous waste violations, Tesla has now agreed to pay a fine of $31,000.
Boring Company has received several violations that workers there have faced chemical burns from sludge while working in those tunnels.
We learned today that 68 acres of brush was burned at a protected refuge.
So there's a clear track record here of cutting corners. But the locals fought back.
Tonight, the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality held a meeting with neighbors. As you can see, the room was at capacity. A representative from the Boring Company was there to answer questions.
This became a major roadblock. They might be out of city jurisdiction, but under pressure from residents and regulators, SpaceX eventually struck a deal. They put up $3 million towards a new wastewater pipe. The city had already been planning a new regional treatment facility, but this deal framed it as a necessary move to support the future economic development. And as all this was going down, third-party developers had also brought up land nearby, building out entire suburbs.
The city's adding thousands of homes as they try to fix infrastructure issues.
The city expects a 42% population increase in the next 5 years.
There's new homes just popping out of every part of here. You'd think that the colony is something that Musk has set up. It sounds like something he would do. It's not. But these homes are to house his employees. Okay, this is the colonies. There's a Tesla. It looks rather beautiful, you know, like this is what I picture American suburbs to look like. Like the Tesla factory alone has 20,000 employees. There's like 20,000 new jobs in Austin, people moving in from California as well. They need this space. I personally think it's quite lifeless and there's nothing really around here. But hey, if you want to live here and you want to work for one of Musk's companies, this is going to be the place to do it.
We're still very rural, but growth and development has really accelerated in these past few years. Just driving down 71, driving on Main Street, you'll see all the new stores that have opened up.
Jude Ross is a local realtor, and he's seen the population grow in real time.
The growth of the local school district here has been astronomical. They built 2 new schools, there's another one coming up.
And it's not just Musk's companies anymore. 2 film studios have set up in Bastrop. They're hoping to make movies cheaper than Hollywood ever could. Meta is also making moves, signing a deal to power its data centers entirely from a new solar farm being built in the county. A project that their partner company says will pump $2 million a year into the local economy. But the reason that all eyes are on Bastrop isn't film or solar. It's Elon Musk.
Well, I'm trying to do good things, yeah.
But you're trying to do good things and you're a billionaire. I mean,
yeah.
That seems a little bit
like him or hate him, he's doing great things and putting us on the map.
People keep telling me that if Bastrop can hold on to its small town charm, then everything will be fine. But how do you actually do that? Well, tomorrow there is a statewide event called the Governor's Small Business Summit, and it's been hosted in Bastrop. And I've been connected with somebody who is literally part of shaping the future of this town. Okay, we woke up at 5:30 this morning to interview the mayor. I want to know what he thinks about the growth here in Bastrop and how they plan to keep Bastrop.
The main important thing is to keep Bastrop sacred and what makes everyone love it.
This is Ishmael Harris. His family have lived in Bastrop for 5 generations, and he was just appointed the first black mayor of Bastrop.
Congratulations, Mr. Mayor. So I am 12 days in. We're not a fast-paced town. You know, slow is fast around here. But you can't go too slow, because you go too slow, especially with things that are happening next to us, we'll get mulled over and ran through by development, housing.
It's been a fast and furious few years.
Becki Womble is the president and CEO of Bastrop Chamber of Commerce.
With the Elon Musk group of companies, they are just bringing in great paying jobs. So far, they've been great community partners, been just bringing a lot of great technology to our community that's being produced in our backyard.
In April of 2024, the county commissioner said that SpaceX and Boring had already created 1,500 mid to high level jobs in Bastrop. With X now here and dozens more roles still listed online, that number is likely way higher. Some hires are local, but many of the roles demand specialized skills, and that pulls in talent from across the country.
We know people want to come here and invest in our community, which is great. We want you here, but on our terms. And we're not trying to make things hard for you. We want to have things to where we respect Bastrop And not just Bastrop the people, but Bastrop the community, Bastrop the land.
I think we're going to look back in 5 to 10 years and say what a historic time it is in Bastrop and how lucky we've been to be a part of it.
I want to create that culture, right? And reestablish what it is to have a successful and thriving community.
So look, zooming out for a second, people seem pretty optimistic about all of this, and not just at this event, but across town. New jobs, new opportunities for the next generation, and there's a sense that it's been on the horizon for a while.
We were still in a real catch-up mode in housing needs from the 2011 fires. We lost about 1,700 homes at that time.
You look at north and south of Austin and see how fast they've grown. We're next in line. Affordability is an issue, but the key to making things more affordable is creating more supply.
I'm a pretty optimistic person, but these two goals, growth and keeping Bastrop, might be harder to balance than people want to admit. So here's the more skeptical side of the story. This is all unfolding outside of city jurisdiction. Musk's companies aren't slowing down. They've got the land, they've got the money, and they're hiring outside talent with high salaries.
There's such a demand now. Everybody moving in from California, other states, all the new things that are being built.
Some are concerned that it'll price them out of their homes, and businesses and locals won't be hired for any of the jobs.
Everything's gone up price-wise, everything. Gas, food, rent, but the pay hadn't gone up.
It's the long-term locals who feel it first. Families who have been here for generations, now struggling to afford the very place that they've always called home. And it's only ticking upwards. House prices have risen nearly 31% in just a year.
You have mixed feelings. You have some people, I have friends of mine that can't stand the growth, you know? They want it to be the way it used to be. And I just tell them, I said, if you want it to be that way, you need to move down the road because it's not going to stop.
Yet I see a huge threat on the horizon, and it feels like it's being ignored. Right now, the Bastrop project feels like a house of cards. It's all dependent on the Musk companies. But it would only take one piece to slip for the whole thing to collapse.
He's running this empire, but there isn't just like a huge pile of cash. There's really only one company that is reliably profitable, and that's Tesla.
Austin saw crazy growth over the last decade, but now talent is drifting back to Silicon Valley. AI has shifted priorities, remote working is being scaled back, and Austin's struggling to hold on to the people that made it a boomtown. And it's not just Austin. When the pandemic hit, San Francisco emptied out. For years, the city had relied on tech money to offset its deeper problems.
2 bedrooms are up 16.3% to nearly 4,800.
The mayors are all facing big challenges and obstacles with crime and drugs and homelessness.
But most of those companies didn't return. Those problems came into full view, and the city still hasn't recovered. And in Seattle in the 2010s, Amazon reshaped the city. And again, during the pandemic, offices were vacant and local businesses struggled. And the city was left with the fallout of relying on one company. There's more nuance to explore in each of these stories, but I think you get the point, right, of what can happen to a city if it's too reliant on one company or industry. And then on top of that, you have Elon himself.
Where is he? Come on up here, Elon.
This is the chainsaw for bureaucracy.
And he's one of the greatest business leaders the world has ever produced.
This is really amazing.
Helping lead the most sweeping and consequential government reform program.
Elon and I had a great relationship. I don't know Wood well anymore.
He's had an interesting year, and we can see what shareholders think when he gets sidetracked. What Elon tweets and does has real-life effects on his companies. And if Bastrop goes all in on Musk, what does that look like in 5 to 10 years' time? If these companies are still so closely aligned with the brand of Musk and all the baggage that comes with it. I'm also super interested to see how Snailbrook develops. Historically, company towns offered stability, but often at the cost of the workers' freedom. Under Texas law, a place needs at least 201 residents to become a new Type B city. For now, Snailbrook's still a long way off. And on unincorporated land, Musk already has far more freedom to do what he wants. So this might not be Musk's private town or the utopia he imagined. important, but his ambitions to grow in Texas are now tied to an entire county that's banking on him taking them along for the ride. The question is whether Bastrop can keep its identity whilst building out infrastructure, managing environmental strain, and keeping the companies that make all this possible happy. Because if something similar happens here to what we've seen in other cities across the US, if the boom fades, if the companies pull out, what happens then? Who's left to maintain what was built? What are the long-term costs? And if locals have already been priced out, will the new residents stick around or just move on to the next big opportunity? Thank you for watching. We have more stories coming down the pipeline very soon. Romania's Chernobyl Part 2 is coming next. I know a lot of you guys have been asking about that. That's going to be the next video. And then we'll be back here in the US for more stories very soon. So thank you so much for watching. If you like this video and appreciate the work that we're doing on the ground, please consider subscribing to us on Patreon, patreon.com/Faultline. You get a bunch of behind the scenes, help support work like this, enabling trips like this. It means a lot. So thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.